All right, let's jump right in today. We're going to be talking about Bakai Amari and his experience navigating the Saudi labor office.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And get this, he was helping himself and his friends win these labor disputes
Wow.
before he even had a law degree.
So he was already like a legal eagle without the official title.
Exactly. Kind of like a self-taught legal expert. Remember?
Totally.
Yeah.
And what's impressive is the level of dedication. He spent tons of time studying Saudi law books and cases, really immersing himself in it.
Yeah, you can tell he was really thorough, really wanted to get it right. But we're going to go even deeper into his story today.
I am excited to hear more because this is a great example of how you don't necessarily need a fancy degree to understand and even master complex systems.
Right, like his story really shows that practical knowledge and determination can go a long way. Okay, so imagine this. Riyadh, 2014, 3 a.m. Bakai's outside the Friendly Settlement for Labor Disputes Court.
3 a.m. Wow.
It's freezing cold, and he's standing in line. Yeah, he had to be there that early to snag one of the limited tickets they hand out.
I mean, just the name of the court, Friendly Settlement for Labor Disputes Court, it kind of sets the tone, doesn't it? Like they're aiming for resolution.
Right. It seems like they want people to find common ground. And, Bakai was already embodying that spirit of friendly settlement even before he stepped inside the courtroom.
How so?
He was helping the other people in line, filling out forms and translating, basically acting as their legal guide right there on the spot.
Wow, that's amazing. It sounds like he had a natural instinct for justice and helping others, even when he was facing his own legal challenge.
Yeah, and this was back in 2014, right? Bakai described the system back then as very traditional. Everything was paper-based, very strict procedures. And if you didn't know Arabic, forget it. You needed a translator.
It makes you think about accessibility back then. Must have been tough if you weren't familiar with the language or the process.
Absolutely. But fast forward to today, things have changed a lot. In 2021, Saudi Arabia launched this online portal called Najiz. It's basically digitized many of those legal processes.
Oh, that's interesting. It's like what we see happening everywhere, right? Technology changing how legal systems work, making them hopefully more efficient and accessible.
Yeah, but it also raises some new issues, like what about people who might not have good internet or who aren't comfortable using technology?
That's a valid concern. Digital literacy is so important now.
So while Bikait's experience gives us a glimpse into the past, it also makes us think about how technology is changing access to justice today and what that means going forward. But let's get back to Bakai. He was dealing with a dispute with a previous employer, and he was determined to resolve it.
Yeah, what was the situation?
Well, it involved unanswered phone calls, tension during the hearing. He even thought about just dropping the whole thing just to get some peace of mind.
Oh, wow. It sounds like it was really stressful for him.
You can imagine, right? And remember, he wasn't a lawyer at this time. He was relying on his own knowledge and all those documents he'd painstakingly organized.
That organization is key. Being prepared is so important when you're dealing with legal stuff. It's something Bakai clearly understood.
Definitely. And in the end, his efforts paid off, He reached a settlement with his old employer.
That's great. It shows that the system, at least in his case, worked.
Yeah, it shows that perseverance and understanding your rights can really make a difference. But his story doesn't stop there. He was helping his friends navigate the same system,
Oh, really?
using what he'd learned to help them too.
That's so cool. It seems like this experience actually sparked a deeper interest in law for him.
Exactly. It wasn't just about getting his own issue resolved. It became about understanding the whole legal system and using that knowledge to really make a difference.
That's when things get really interesting. Because after 2016, he decided to pursue a law degree officially.
Yeah, can you believe it? From representing himself and his friends to hitting the law books. Quite a journey, right?
Talk about a commitment. It shows he was really drawn to this field, not just by his own experience, but by a desire to learn more and maybe even help others on a larger scale.
Just like his experience with the labor office.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a win. It was like a spark that ignited a whole new passion.
And what a unique perspective he brings to his studies. He's got real-world experience to draw, not just theory from textbooks.
It's like he's coming full circle, from figuring out the system as an outsider to becoming part of it. And it all began with that early morning wait outside the Friendly Settlement for Labor Disputes Court.
The name really sits, doesn't it? It seems like Bakai wasn't just about winning. He wanted to understand, help, and be a part of a system that strives for fairness.
You hit the nail on the head. So we've seen Bakai go from those early morning lines to deciding to get a law degree. But his story also gives us a glimpse into the bigger picture of the Saudi legal system.
It does. It's clearly a system that's changing, embracing technology, but also facing challenges like making sure it's accessible to everyone.
And Bakait's experience is like a case study in how people can navigate those changes, empowering themselves and others along the way.
Absolutely. It's a story that I think a lot of people can relate to, especially today when things are changing so rapidly. One thing that really struck me about Buckheit's story was how his experience challenged some of the negative stereotypes he'd heard about the Saudi Labor Office.
Right, he mentioned that.
Yeah, he went in expecting one thing, and it turned out to be quite different.
Totally. Like he found the staff to be really professional, efficient, even good at customer service.
Which just goes to show that firsthand experience can be so powerful, you know?
It's easy to rely on hearsay or what we think we know.
Yeah.
But Bakait actually went through the process himself.
And formed his own opinion.
Exactly. And that's important for all of us, right? Like whether it's about legal systems or anything else.
We should always try to seek out accurate information, not just go off assumptions.
So true. But getting back to Bakait, he successfully navigated the system, won his case, helped his friends.
What happened after that?
But his story doesn't end there. He continued to read Saudi law,
Oh, wow.
like really delve deeper into it.
So it wasn't just a one-time thing. This was becoming a real passion.
Yeah, it seems like it really sparked something in him.
That's incredible.
He even started helping his colleagues with their legal issues.
So he was becoming like a go-to legal resource for the people around him.
Right. It wasn't just about winning his own case anymore. It was about understanding the whole legal system and using that knowledge to make a real impact.
That's when it becomes more than just a personal story. It's about empowering others, too.
It's fascinating how something that started as a personal challenge turned into a passion,
Right. It wasn't about the victory. It was about the knowledge and what he could do with it.
like a desire to make things right,
Totally. And that dedication's truly inspiring. It makes me think he saw a need, not just for himself.
but for others in similar situations.
Exactly. And he wanted to equip himself and the people around him with the knowledge to navigate those challenges.
He basically became a legal advocate, driven by this sense of fairness.
And that's such an important reminder that you don't always need formal qualifications to make a difference.
Right. It's about the willingness to learn, to be prepared, and to help others.
Bakite's story is a perfect example of that. And, it highlights something crucial about legal systems in general.
What's that?
Accessibility and clear communication.
Oh, yeah. Like if people understand their rights and the processes involved,
It empowers them to stand up for themselves and seek fair solutions.
it can be intimidating, especially if you're not familiar with the law.
Right.
So to sum up, Bakai's journey started with a personal challenge, but it became so much more than that.
It really did.
He didn't just win. He found this passion for law and this drive to use his knowledge to do good.
And that's a really powerful message for anyone listening.
It is. His story shows how individual initiative, when combined with that thirst for knowledge
Yeah.
and a willingness to help others, can lead to amazing things.
Absolutely. It's about taking that first step, learning as much as you can, and then using what you've learned to make a positive impact.
And remember, knowledge is power, right?
Sure.
Seeking accurate information, challenging those stereotypes, and engaging with the systems that are in place can make us all more empowered.
Absolutely. Whether it's a legal issue or any other challenge we face, being informed is key.
Bakait's experience with the Saudi Labor Office is a great example of that. It shows that even these seemingly complex systems
Right.
can be navigated effectively if you have the right approach.
And his decision to pursue a law degree after 2016
Yeah.
speaks volumes about how these lived experiences can be transformative.
Totally. It's a commitment to learning and wanting to contribute to a field that obviously resonated with him deeply. It's pretty inspiring.
Yeah, and it makes me think back to our earlier discussion about the shift towards digitization.
Mm-hmm.
Bakite's experience happened before that.
Before the Naji's online portal,
Yeah, but it's interesting to think about it through that lens because those online platforms raise important questions about accessibility.
definitely, like the digital divide, who has access to technology, who can use it comfortably.
Exactly. It's great to have these advancements, but we need to make sure they benefit everyone.
Right. The goal should be to make access to justice easier, not create new obstacles.
And Bakite's story really highlights the importance of clear communication, user-friendly interfaces, and support systems for those who might need a little help navigating those digital platforms.
It's all about making sure everyone has a fair shot.
Right. So we've talked about Bakite's journey, His insights into the legal system, the impact of technology on access to justice.
What does it all mean for our listeners? What can they take away from all this?
Well, I think Bakai's story reminds us that legal systems, even if they seem complicated,
Yeah,
they're designed to serve people.
right.
And understanding the basics, being prepared,
The standing up for yourself.
can make a huge difference.
And don't underestimate the power of personal experience, right? It shapes how we see the world.
It does.
It can spark new passions, lead us down paths we never expected.
Big Kite, going from that early morning wait outside the labor office to studying law,
Yeah,
that's proof that lived experience can be incredibly powerful.
absolutely. And remember, knowledge is power.
It really is.
The more we know, the better equipped we are to face challenges and advocate for ourselves and for others.
So true.
It's really encouraging to hear stories like Bakai's, right? Like someone who not only faced this potentially intimidating system,
Yeah,
but actually came out of it with this newfound passion.
totally. It's like those challenges we face.
Yeah.
Sometimes they lead to these unexpected opportunities.
You're right. And it makes me think about, as technology keeps changing legal systems all over the world,
Yeah.
how do we make sure that those systems are accessible to everyone? That they're equitable for everyone involved.
That's a really good question and something for everyone to think about, right? Like, even in our own local systems, are there ways that technology could make things better? Or are there potential barriers that we need to address?
Right. Are we actually making it harder for some people, even as we try to improve things?
It's so easy to focus on how technology makes things faster and more efficient,
Uh-huh.
but we can't forget about the human element, right?
Yeah.
Especially in legal matters. That ability to understand, empathize, that's crucial.
And I think Bakkite's story is a perfect example of that, right?
Yeah.
He took the initiative to learn the law, but he also had that empathy to help others.
He did. He had that balance.
That's something we can all learn from, no matter what field we're in.
Definitely. Because in a world that's becoming increasingly reliant on technology, that personal touch, that willingness to help, to understand other people's needs,
Yeah.
that's what really makes a difference.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
Well, I think that brings us to the end of our deep dive into Bakai Amri's incredible story. Hopefully you learned a little something about the Saudi legal system, and, maybe you were even inspired a bit.
It's amazing how one person's journey can teach us so much.
It is. And, maybe even inspire you to do your own deep dive into something you're curious about.
Absolutely. There's a whole world of knowledge out there.
So much to explore. Thanks for joining us. And until next time, keep those minds curious, keep asking questions,